Hey, welcome back to Retro Reload. It's Art of Fighting 2, aka the Fist of the Dragon 2 from SNK in 1994 for one of my all-time favorite consoles, the Neo Geo AES. Yes, it's the perfect home arcade system and a machine that was way ahead of its time, and games that were both fast, beautiful, and you know what? Still play well today. And in my opinion, these things are the definition of video game classics. Anyhow, back to the game at hand. Art of Fighting 2 is a direct sequel to the original Art of Fighting and takes place less than a year after Takuma Sakazaki's, aka Mr. Karate's daughter, was kidnapped by the infamous Southtown Underworld gang, led by a shadowy figure who is later revealed to be Geese Howard, which some of you may know from the King of Fighter games, which happened later on, and the previous game's end boss, Mr. Big. The previous game's heroes, Ryo and Robert, return with a host of new and original playable characters. Art of Fighting 2 has many things going for it. The graphics are beautiful and an improvement over the original. I want to make special mention though of the backgrounds because there's actually quite a bit going on. My personal favorite levels are the airport with its misty nighttime atmosphere, the boxing ring where fighters watch you beat each other to a pulp. I love the fact there's also a storm going on outside. I mean, that's really cool. Just take a look at those sprites, man. I mean, someone really cared about what they were doing. There's intricate little details. You know, I love the fighters in the background and yeah, just filled with atmosphere. And of course, finally, there's this level, which reminds me a lot of the streets of Hong Kong. A bit like Wan Chai and Shamshipo, you know, smushed together. It's awesome, man. Just look at that. I love the big tram, and the people just stopped and watched and were like, wow, look at these two fight. Another thing to note about the graphics is that the characters actually show progressive physical damage during the match. I mean, this was way back when in 1994. This is kind of ahead of its time as well, which is especially effective considering the huge character sprites displayed on screen. The scaling effect from the previous game is also here, and you know, as in everything in this game, it's been slightly tweaked and improved, and it just makes those matches so much more exciting. I mean, check it out, how cool is that? The controls are tight, and the new rage bar is a really interesting mechanic which you need to do certain special moves. One can taunt their enemy in order to deplete the rage bar, which is always a lot of good fun, and you can also power up your rage bar by holding down the two punch and kick buttons. The downside, however, for some may be the extreme difficulty of the AI. Even with this game set to easy, I had a really hard time progressing from one level to the other. The AI is smart and is punishing. If you mess up just that little bit, it will nail you. I mean, you thought Skynet and Terminator were scary. If Skynet beat the humans, this Neo Geo game, Art of Fighting 2, would take down Skynet, no problem whatsoever. It's insane, it's brutal. However, if you manage to progress far enough into the arcade single-player game, you do get to really cool bonus levels. I didn't manage to get to them, but you know, I've got some screenshots right over here. I mean, again, this game is brutally punishing. I mean, you look it up anywhere, everybody's like, whoa, this game is crazy. If you even have the skill to get past all the fighters, and I mean all the fighters, and you end up at Mr. Big, and you beat him without dying, alright? No deaths, no nothing. You get to fight a secret boss who is indeed Geese Howard. I mean, but you have to be really insanely good to get there. I mean, I could never do that. I don't have the time or the patience, but yeah, damn. If, however, the AI is too difficult for you to handle, there is always the excellent versus mode, which is what you really play these games for. I mean, just invite some friends over, get some beer, get some chips, beat each other up. Hey, it's good fun. Another interesting note about this game is that many of the characters within this game actually made it into SNK's now legendary King of Fighters, some of which, you know, we'll review in a later date, and are classics in their own right. And talking about classics, all in all, this game is definitely a classic and definitely a must-have for Neo Geo fans. It holds up pretty well, and the AES card, for one, is actually not that expensive. So, you know, for a lot of people, this may be your first-time purchase, and it immediately shows what kind of a cool system the Neo Geo was. I mean, this is an early game, and it still looks and plays great. Art of Fighting 2 is available for the Neo Geo AES, which of course is a perfect conversion of the MVS. The Neo Geo CD version is also available, even though it might have a lot of long loading times. The PlayStation 2 version is available, showing the whole trilogy of the games, and of course there's a Super Nintendo version, which is really, really scary and not worth your time. And finally, of course, there's the Wii U Virtual Console version. So, anyhow, that's it from me. This game's a classic. I think you should try it out, and that's all from us here at Retro Reload.